I hate this stereotype that if you join the military, you're going to end up, dying for a country that doesn't care about you. Oh, you're going to go to another country and kill a bunch of people. Like, for some reason, a lot of people have the ideal or perception that the military, especially the army, is like Call of Duty or something, when in reality, it's not. I served in the U.S. Army from 2019 to 2024 and then joined the National Guard for about a year in 2025. During that entire duration, I never saw any combat whatsoever. The most crazy thing I got involved with was having to work during Thanksgiving because I was an Army cook, and Thanksgiving is like the worst time to work because Army cooks have horrific work hours. Other than that, I didn't end up dying. I didn't end up killing anyone. The only time where we had to go to the range for target practice, I only shot at targets, not actual people. Most jobs in the military aren't even combat related. Mechanics, cooks, engineers, dentists, doctors. Most people in the military, especially nowadays, don't see combat. And yeah, there have been cases of people dying overseas in like Iran or something, but that's like a very rare thing that shouldn't be happening. It's basically like how you can go to a public school, but there's still going to be the odds that someone will shoot that school up. Like, yeah, that's just reality. Life is unpredictable. Now, a school shooting is super rare, but it could still happen. A gas station robbery is super rare, but it could still happen. Dying in the military nowadays is super rare, but it can still happen. What I'm basically trying to say is that pretty much any career or job field that you participate in can lead to a cause of death. A lot of people in the army or the military in general regret joining. Like, one phrase I always hear is "fuck this shit. I can't wait to get out." Once the individual's contract ends. Me personally, I wasn't planning on joining the military when I was in high school. I wanted to get a regular job, but nobody would hire me. I had no drug history, no criminal history. I was willing to work, but it turns out that, getting a job is sort of like winning the lottery. Even back then in the early 2020s before AI took over. And I don't regret doing some time in the military because now I have free health care. I can still go to school and get paid for it. I have medical financial compensation at the end of each month. I'm grateful I actually served time. But when I see people try to guilt trip me or gaslight me for, joining the military for a couple of years by saying some nonsensical shit like, oh, you serve the country that doesn't care for you. I'm like, well, dang, I guess you wanted me to go back to the days when I was borderline homeless and barely had any food. And personally, from my own experience, the government seems to care more about soldiers and people in the military compared to the actual citizens. I mean, think about it. When I got out of the military, I got financially compensated for medical issues, and that's pretty much, a benefit I have for life, including free education. I can literally go to school, apply for college, and get paid for it. Meanwhile, the average American citizen is living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have free health care. And hey, if you get laid off from your job because you got depressed or whatever, you're not going to get compensated. I mean, you can go through the expensive process of hiring a lawyer and trying to, sue the business that fired you, but good luck with that. At least when I got out, all I had to do was talk to a VA representative, get in contact with the VA, do some appointments, and bam, lifetime supply of money, at least once a month. Even people with combat jobs in the army nowadays don't even really participate in combat. Like, I've seen so many people with a combat related job, infantry, cavalry, all that kind of stuff. And they're always so bored because instead of actually participating in combat, they're just doing training. A lot of my time when I wasn't in the kitchen in the army, when I was an army cook, a lot of time was just maintaining vehicles and having mandatory fun days and having to uh, clean up. Like, a lot of the army is basically just not typical 9 to 5 wage slave stuff. To be honest, except the rules are a little stricter and you gotta wear that uniform. That's about it. It's not like Call of Duty. You know, none of my friends that I knew in the army ended up dying for Israel or whatever sort of nonsense that people like to make up. Again, people who say this kind of nonsense, like if you join the army or any other branch in the military, you're going to end up dying. Um, yeah, that not the case at all. And it's always said by people who never served a day's worth in their entire life. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for shit talking the army. Every single soldier does it. But I feel like if you haven't really served, then your criticism of the army or any other military branch doesn't really matter. You know, it's sort of like criticizing someone who fixes cars, yet you never fix the car yourself. Don't get me wrong, the army and other military branches do have flaws, but everything in life has flaws in general. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna read Watchmen. I just want to let that out.